going on, everybody? And welcome to another edition of Prime Sports World here for the week 6 so far. Recap, please like, share, subscribe to the podcast here. I'm your host, Israel Rivera. There goes CJ Hopkins. There goes from the Daily Good blog, Christian Simpson. What's going on, gentlemen? On a good evening for Monday Night Football, we got 2 games, and we got one where we're going to try and get a get back, right? Chicago Bears fans going to try and get a big get back for, the Hail Mary from last year. And then you have the Bills and the Falcons, which I don't know. Bills just wrap that shit up by halftime. Real shit, dog. Real shit, dog. Anyways, Christian will be back on soon, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
But anyways, man, let's get into it. There go Christian. Christian, hey, you like what I said? I don't think you heard what I said. I said Bills need to wrap. I said the Bills need to wrap that shit up by halftime.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Buffalo style Falcon, baby. You all right? CJ.
Getting into it. We got the Eagles. The Eagles did not take off on Thursday Night Football against Christian's Giants as they dropped one 34-17. I got to lead with the leading score instead of the away. Man, y'all trash. Anyways, Jalen Hurts getting a lot of skepticism for missing a couple balls here when it mattered the most. 24-33, 283 yards, touchdown, and interception. Big interception in the red zone as they continue to have struggles running the football. Saquon Barkley only 58 yards. But you want to know something? That is not the story. The story is the 2 rookies that the New York Giants are rolling out there. Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterboo balling like they daddies, hopefully. 17-25, stunned like they daddies. Jackson Dart, 195 yards, a touchdown, went out for a little bit of time due to like some kind of concussion scare. He passed protocol, but Cam Scatterboo was the star of the game. 3 touchdowns on the ground, 19 carries, 98 yards. He was a bowling ball out there, running into brick walls. Very impressive win for the New York Giants at home, and a very underwhelming performance for the Philadelphia Eagles, who I believe were without Quinshawn Mitchell, and they were without.
I think they lost Quinyon Mitchell as the game went on.
Progressed, yeah, and then they were without Jalen Carter, if I'm not mistaken, too.
Yeah, that was announced like pre-game. Then they took some injuries as the game went on. Now this game can be summed up in one sentence, and it's Brian Daboll hauling ass to that tent, damn near hurting himself in the process. He telling them trainers telling the trainers, give him the damn shot and get him the fuck back out there, because he saw Russell Wilson dirt one of them passes.
Yeah, I want to say something about that. First of all, Brian Daboll finna piss me off. Okay, y'all understand?
Give him the damn shot and get him the fuck back out there.
First of all, man, hey, Jackson Dart better be good, for a long time, if you're gonna do that, because you know what? First of all, that's a fucking Hall of Famer. I'm tired. I'm tired of staying smart for my cuss words.
No, I will agree with
Russell Wilson is a fucking Hall of Famer. You need to stop.
I will agree with you on that. I will agree with
he got booed. He got booed as soon as he got in the game.
Immediately, bro. It's like, damn.
I get it, and then for the fact for Brian Daboll to go and do that, you know what I'm saying? Man, show some damn respect. That's a Hall of Famer right there that you got on your sidelines. You better be glad that he's over there gracing your ass. You ain't never gonna wear a gold jacket, buddy. Never. You ain't never gonna wear no gold jacket, because you're gonna get your ass fired. You're gonna get your ass up out of there after the season when y'all struggle. They gonna get them a new quarterback, new coach. So
this is why I'm kind of like, tuned out of national media now, because instead of focusing on the good that the Giants did, right? Some of these shows spent 2 hours or an hour or longer than they should have talking on, oh, what's wrong with Philly? Like, what's wrong with the Eagles? Like, why are they do?
And
It's like, no, give the team that won more credit than what you give them. Go ahead, Christian.
no, I understand that, TJ, but when you're the Super Bowl champs, you come with a little more weight on your shoulders. Like, here's
But
the
according to them, they ain't the champs of nothing. Last season is last season.
yeah, but still, at the end of the day, this is the team you have to take down if you want to get somewhere, not just
Yeah, you're right.
but in the league. But I look at it like this: I haven't been happy with anything I've seen from the Philadelphia Eagles because they should, if we're being realistic here, they should have 2 more losses than what they have already. They should have lost to the Rams.
And
They
let the
should have
church
lost
say,
to Tampa. If I'm being real with you, they should have lost to Dallas because they didn't look all that great with Dallas, which you see how much of a difference not having Jalen Carter makes when he's on the football field compared to when he's not there. But to be honest with you, Izzy, I'm glad this is happening to the Eagles right now because they've toyed with hot food for too long. And now it's caught up to them. Eventually, your issues catch up to you. And as far as the Giants, this is the most energy I've seen them play with in years. They were dominating the line of scrimmage. Jackson and Cam, I mean, God, they're they're the new wave out here right now. I mean, Cam has really become a fan favorite amongst this space. You know, this defense, they played well, and of course, you know, this defense did what every defense that the Eagles have played this year has done.
bro, I never thought I'd see the day. I never thought I'd see the day somebody on the like Eagles defense get. I mean, like Jalen Carter aside, right? Jalen Carter aside. I never thought I'd see the day where somebody like they man card got checked. Like, bro, like Cam Scatterboo is meeting Eagles defenders in the pocket. Like they got head on shots with Cam Scatterboo and they doing the Olay defense. Like, is you like we all play football here. Y'all know what the Olay defense is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they ain't want to hit him. They ain't want to hit him. You know, you can't say that the Eagles are missing. They obviously Quinshawn Mitchell got hurt, but they missing Darius Slay. I mean, a guy like Adoree Jackson, Christian, you know,
that's who man card got checked too. Adoree.
Yeah, he did. He known for getting burnt too. I mean, he necessarily. I mean, they were really throwing at him, and that was the game plan to throw at Adoree Jackson. They know he's not the best cover man. He probably one of the worst cover. I don't even know how he still got a starting job. It's like a starting job. Yeah, that's all it is, really. His kick return, punt return skills is what really keeps him on NFL rosters. But in terms of like tackles, I mean, dude, Cam Scatterboo, anytime a cornerback is leading your team in tackles that game, that means Cam Scatterboo got to the second level and beyond. Most of the time, it was a bad day at the office for the front seven. Yeah. So, anyways, with that being said, we're gonna put this game to the dirt. Hopefully, Philly responds at some point this season and look like Super Bowl champs at some point. But New York Giants look like they got them a cornerstone franchise quarterback. Well, I wouldn't say he didn't wow me, but he does. I mean, I will say this: his legs are a problem, right? Like Jackson Dart being able to extend plays, that's a problem for teams. And then once he starts getting comfortable with reading defense and reading the holes in the NFL defense, that's going to be even more of a problem. And then Cam Scatterboo, I mean, he's a bowling ball over there. So yeah, some good cooking for the New York Giants. Next game we got on the slate, and that's the early game in London, England. Here, that's my best accent. I'm sorry, y'all. You got the Denver Broncos defeating the New York Jets 13-11. This was a barn burner.
That shit was ugly, man.
That shit was ugly.
It was like, man, we gotta apologize to England for that one, man. Like that was bad, bro.
That was pretty bad.
That was not our best product.
Bo Nix, 174 yards, 1 touchdown. Really nothing on the ground. There was nothing that wowed you. You know what? One stat that did kick out to me is 9 sacks for the Denver Broncos on Justin Fields.
Mhm.
Justin Fields only had 45 yards, 9 sacks on Justin
Mhm.
Fields.
Did y'all watch
Uh,
this game? I watched this game. Did y'all watch this game? You ain't wake up early enough to watch that game.
I was up early, but I was doing my football thing. I
That's right.
was
Oh yeah, that's
already
right. That's right. That's right.
yeah. I
Christian,
had
did you watch any of this game?
Hell no, I ain't watched none of this game.
Okay, so I watched this game.
Why? Why
Most
would you do that to yourself?
because it was Sunday morning and one shit else on. I don't go to
I
church.
would have watched it. I would have watched it too, just to see how what Justin Fields did against the defense.
And
Hey,
Against
look, I had it on for background noise. You know,
so
the
let me tell y'all something, bro. Like this was as close to 50-50 blame as 50-50 blame can get. Like there were plays where Fields straight up missed the throw. I'll be the first to say, like, hey, there was some passes to Garrett Wilson that were behind him, should have been in front of him. Yeah, missed the throw. Then there were plays where Justin Fields had no chance at all. They're like, why didn't he scramble? I'm like, the minute he hiked the ball, Nick Benito was in his fucking lap. Getting,
yeah.
and then there were plays where nobody got open. Cover sacks, pure cover sacks.
I think
And
I
you
think
still, and if you're the Jets, you still had a chance to win this fucking game.
I think when they did prime time or when they ran the highlights on Sunday Night Football that I watched, they it was like all the Jets highlights was really Broncos highlights. Justin Fields getting sacked
Sacks.
every
We had
time. They ran 9 plays. It was sack 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 sack.
sack,
I
sack,
was
sack,
like,
sack.
damn.
And they like, oh, he's holding on to the ball too long. He's doing this. He's doing that. It's they had they that was like a master class. That was like a defensive master class by Vance
Mm,
Joseph.
mm.
It
yeah.
was
You remember when the Broncos and Jets played last year? I think they got after Aaron Rodgers about 5 or 6 times. It's just all about it's the way he schemes things up. You know, you never know who he's going to send. But that's the thing. You know, Zach Allen could be on the field, Nick Benito could be on the field. That they could appear to show blitz, and then they'll drop back in coverage, and then somebody's bursting right through the A gap. So you got to give Vance the perfect. You know,
I'm
you got to
giving
give
him a
him a
lot. Hey,
you got to
go
give
ahead,
him
my bad.
you got to give him a game ball for just coming up with the perfect game plan.
Because I think the one thing about the Denver defense is, yeah, you got Pat Surtain, like he's the reigning DPOY, but outside of him, like none of those names like really like, and it's no disrespect to him, like none of those names like really like strike out to you. Like they not standout names. Like they not like out of all like think about all the defensive players we got in today's game, like the Miles Garrett's, the Aiden Hutchinsons, the TJ Watts, like players of that caliber. How many of those like how many names are we really saying before we even get to Pat Surtain? Truthfully speaking.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah. No, that's right. No,
Like how
that's right.
many
That's right.
like how many names are we really like how many names are we saying before we even get to the reigning DPOI and for him to have two potential DPOIs because like I ain't finna shortchange Nick Benito like that either. Like this was a defense like this was a masterclass. Now they got questions on the well they've been had questions about the Jets. Like is it time to bench Justin Fields? Bench him for who? Tyrod?
I don't know what you. I don't know. You know. I don't know what they'll do with that. You might as well just let Justin Fields ride out the season. See if you can get a little bit better. I don't see it.
I mean, because
You're not going to
outside
fix no
of
problems with the offensive line. You're
and
not
that's
going to
really
fix
the
those
issue.
problems. Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
not going to
because
fix those problems. He's not going to
outside
fix
of the
those
Bills
problems.
game, they've been competitive in every game, right? Like outside of the Buffalo Bills game.
Yeah, I mean, this reminds me when Dan Campbell first took over the Lions. And they had just got they obviously traded for Jared Goff. And what they win? Only like three. They won like what 4-5 games, something like that. They make the playoffs. people were writing off Jared Goff, and then boom, next year they in the playoffs.
Yeah, that first year and a half, it was.
Yeah, that first year and a half, and the second season they didn't make the playoffs. They were on the fringe of making the playoffs, and then people were like, still like, okay, are you guys gonna go get a franchise quarterback for Jared Goff? And then boom, now we got the Lions. They 2 years in a row, one of the best teams in the NFC. Now one of the last night they took an ass whooping, but it's the Chiefs. But it's one of those things where I hope that they let Aaron Glenn, and I think the franchise, I think the franchise had a little bit more respect for Aaron Glenn because he's a former player for them. But obviously we know how that went with like Gerard Mayo and such and such and such and such, right? But I think Aaron Glenn, I think you got to give Aaron Glenn at least 2-3 years. 2 years. Next year, you got to show constant improvement. Right. You know what I mean? Like if you only go in, like you got a lot of problems. You had a lot of problems. A franchise quarterback isn't gonna do that. We got to fix the offensive line. We got to fix the offense. We got to start within, right? But Justin Fields also has to, improve as well as the season goes along because this is not it. He's got to show some semblance that I can be the starting quarterback for the New York Jets as opposed to I'm gonna be on my fourth team in 3 years. So that's
I saw somebody on Twitter say they held up a picture of Terrell Pryor.
Yeah. They have his ass move to wide receiver.
Yeah, how Terrell Pryor switched positions and extended his career a couple years. They like, hey, you might want to consider that. I was like, damn.
Yeah, Terrell. So Terrell got 1,000 yards as a wide receiver. He's a 1,000-yard wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, man, super athletic. Anyways, moving on to the next game, and this is the first game of the afternoon slate. We had a backup. This was a pretty high-scoring game for two quarterbacks that Daniel Jones, former starter, but people kind of wrote him off. He's going to Indianapolis, and then you got a backup in Jacoby Brissett, who always kind of seems to have these games. 27-44, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 320 yards, put up 27 points on the Indianapolis Colts. But the Colts prevailed in the end, scoring 14 in the fourth quarter, 31 to win, 31-27. Jonathan Taylor had 21 carries for 123 yards and a touchdown. Daniel Jones efficient again, 22-30, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 212 yards on the day. But yeah, this was one of those games where it was a back and forth game. Whoever had the ball last was going to win this football game. But Indianapolis stormed back in the fourth quarter and took this one by the jaws.
Yeah, they really did. It's just good to see Jonathan Taylor back on the field, and I got
he's looking great.
Yeah, he's such a difference maker when he's healthy, and I got to give Arizona a lot of credit. Without Kyler Murray, they were in this game until they weren't. Indy's defense just made that stand. The Colts are 5-1. Who ever thought we'd be saying that?
Hey, Christian.
Yeah.
Completed pass to 8 different receivers. Well, 8 different people. Yeah, Jacoby Brissett, 8 different guys he completed the pass to.
Yeah, and look,
that's talking about spraying it around to your team.
Yeah, listen, look, Jacoby Brissett isn't a bad quarterback. I just think he hasn't been in the greatest of situations. You know what I'm saying?
No, he's the prototypical. I was going to say
situation was New England.
Well, here's the thing, though, both of you guys. He's your best. If you look at the backup quarterback position, he's a guy that'll come in for a game or two if your quarterback's out, right? Because look at in Baltimore right now, they look like trash.
He'd be perfect.
Rush. He'd be perfect. Like he's a quarterback that'll come in there for a couple weeks. Him and Tyrod Taylor, they come in there for a couple weeks. 2-3 weeks, and they can make your team competitive, right? Like Jake Browning ain't gonna make your team competitive. Cooper Rush ain't gonna make your team competitive. When I look at a prototypical backup quarterback, Jameis Winston, he'll come in and make your team competitive. He'll put up points on the board. He'll get it to your wide receivers. But Jacoby Brissett is like one of the best, if not the best, backup quarterback in the NFL. Like, completed to 8 different wide receivers to be in the game against a very good football team in Indianapolis Colts, which I think is really good football team this year. I mean, I can't ask much. He is the situation, like he is the situation,
And of course, Mari DeMarcado, he kind of in the doghouse right now.
Oh
One
yeah.
carry, one carry, 1 yard. It's like, but it's to the Daniel Jones point. It goes back to Christian's earlier point from a couple, like when we first started this season. No expectations for Daniel Jones in Indianapolis. None. No bright lights. His face not in Times Square. New York media, Indianapolis media is not New York media. It's not. So he's the walking definition of playing with house money right now. Because if he goes out there and he balls, it's like, oh shit, good for him. If he goes out there and he trash, it's like, same old Daniel Jones, right? So he also kind of stems. Also, can we talk about how they had two warm-up injuries, like injuries and warm-ups, like two separate? I'm thinking they happened to each other. Anthony Richardson has an eye contusion, and then who the hell else was it? Suffered a concussion in warm-ups. I'm thinking they collided with each other, and these are two separate incidences to start the game. I'm like, what is going on over here?
Mm.
It was ugly. It was hold on. It was Anthony Richardson and Travarius Ward. Travarius Ward got a concussion, and Anthony Richardson had an eye contusion in warm up. So it's like, what the hell? Like Travarius Ward ran into somebody, and I'm thinking he ran into Anthony Richardson, but because they didn't specify that till later. He collided with Drew Ogletree, one of the backup tight ends, and Anthony Richardson has a fractured orbital bone in warm-ups. So I have no idea what the hell they were doing, but
Somebody got socked in the face.
some happened.
Ball hit their face hard. But yeah, anyways, moving on to the next game, we got the Chargers defeating the Miami Dolphins 29-27 in Miami. As this game, Dolphins made it a little bit of something, but for 3 quarters they pretty much were not that competitive. Chargers came out in the second half, scored 14 on them. Justin Herbert was 29-38, 264 yards, 2 touchdowns on the day. And then you had Kamani Vildal, who filled in very valiantly for Amarion Hampton as he's dealing with an injury. I think he's on injury reserve. Y'all thought Hassan Haskins would get it, but it was Vidal that got the turn and burn. 18 carries, 124 yards. Lab McConkey, 7 catches, 100 yards, and a touchdown. Arande Godson, 7 catches, 68 yards. Pretty good day at the office for him. And then Tua Tagovailoa, 21-32, 205 yards. Terrible day at the office for him. 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions as the Chargers turned it over on him. Devon Achane was a lone bright spot. Had 2 touchdowns, 128 yards on the ground with 22 yards receiving. Thoughts on this game? I know this one really, the score doesn't really kind of paint it of how, it was, as close as it was, because the, Chargers were up 26-13. I know it was only a 2-score game, but it felt like it was a lot more than that. The way the Dolphins turned the ball over and stuff like that. I know they made it interesting, right? I mean, they took the lead late to make it 27-26. And then, yep. And then, 29-27 field goal.
Ain't this why you traded for Bradley Chubb?
Yep.
Ain't this why you traded for Bradley Chubb to get us off the field, close the game out, all that good stuff? So if you got what's his name? You got Tua in the post game presser, talking about we got guys coming to meetings late, and all this other stuff, and you got Mike McDaniel doing that sassy ass stance at the podium. Y'all saw it. Um, I ain't shit. But
Will be.
what'd you say?
You never
You
will
said
be.
you right. You right. Take one, no one. But it's something wrong down in Miami. It's like every time they lose a game, it just makes them firing Brian Flores look that much worse. It makes them taking Tua over Herbert that much worse. And your one win is literally the only team in your division who's worse than you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think, man, this game was just like fourth quarter. In my opinion, I mean, Miami kept fighting. Obviously, it went down to the wire. But I feel like that the Chargers probably this was a game that they probably should have won by 3-4 scores. They kind of got a little too comfortable in the end there and had to win it by a field goal. But I mean, golly, I mean, 46 seconds is an eternity now in the NFL. The way these passing
Man,
offenses
the,
are, I mean,
it,
that's like, I mean, you score with 46 seconds left. It's
it's
like
not
the
even
way
that
these
though, bro.
kickers
Like
can kick a field goal.
it's not even that. It's the new kickoffs.
Yeah, that too. That too. Yeah, the new
It's the
kickoffs give. Yeah.
like like you bust one open, like bro, like you can literally be at the fifth, like because like look how much running room you got before you can potentially even get touched, and then all you
Yeah.
gotta do is get one or two clean blocks, and you fuck
Gone.
around, you gone.
Yeah, Devin Hester would have had a field day
Oh my
in this
bro,
era.
oh my god.
He would have had. He probably would have had double the amount of kick returns for touchdowns in this era.
They would have
Yes,
been for sure
sir.
out the back of the end zone on him.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, with him, oh for sure, for sure, for sure. Yeah.
And
I
then
mean, I
and
mean,
then what they
I'm,
do, like what's
I'm,
what they go ahead.
I'm not as impressed with the Chargers. I feel like, like I said, man. I think this game should have probably been out of. I really feel like Miami just isn't. And this is the NFL. They are professionals, but the Chargers, they need something about them where they don't have that killer instinct. And I don't know if it's Justin Herbert. I mean, since we want to talk about Tua and stuff like that, I just feel like this Chargers team just doesn't have a killer instinct to them. We raved about their defense and all that, and they did turn Tua over 3 times. But when it mattered the most, I mean, they allowed Miami to creep back into this game
Yeah,
and take the lead.
I wasn't really happy with the Chargers. If anything, I've never been pissed off with a team during a win.
Yeah,
Put it that way, because I just look at they're not the same team that they were when they started 3-0. I mean,
yeah.
you completely rolled over to the Giants. You let the Commanders come into your house and take your lunch, and then you had to escape by 2 points to a team that you should have beat mightily. But I agree with you, Izzy. I don't think they have that, that guy that can, just get me in a good one-on-one situation and give me the ball. And I don't think Justin's that guy. Do I think he has great arm strength? Yeah, but in a 2-minute drive, I don't know if he's a guy that I can trust. But look, they escaped with a win at the end
A
of the
win's
day.
a win at the end of the day.
It's a win,
Man.
but
Gotta
it
give it.
didn't
I
look
gotta
all
give
that
it.
impressive to me. I'll just put
Win's
it.
a win at the end of the day. 20 moving on to the next game, we got the New England Patriots getting another W in New Orleans there, 25-19, as Drake May continues to impress, 18-26, 3 touchdowns. 28. He was actually the leading rusher for them, which is crazy. 28 yards rushing. Keyshawn Boutte, 93 yards and 2 touchdowns for them. Had a pretty good day at the office. And then on the other side, Spencer Rattler was 20-26, 227 yards. Alvin Kamara only 31 yards on. Chris Olave, 98 yards to lead New Orleans in this game. But yeah, this was one of those games where I think that New Orleans had a shot there towards the end, trying to move it, but they just couldn't score enough points in the fourth quarter. I mean, I guess the real question is, New England's defense pretty damn good under Mike Vrabel. Pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's not a shocker that they're pretty good defensively. I mean, this team is taken after the head coach. And I remember Bill Belichick said Mike Vrabel was probably one of the smartest defensive players I've ever coached. And I mean, he's taken that to the sideline with the clipboard and the headset now. And this team really takes after him. Drake May just continues to climb the ladder.
He continues to get better every game.
Here's the thing, Izzy. I say it to you all the time. I say it on College Football Showdown. I say it on Monday Evening Quarterback, and I say it here as well. If you want your quarterbacks to succeed, put him in position to succeed. You got to put pieces around him. Who did he have around him before this year?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who was the guy? Think about it. Who was the guy that defenses said, look, we got to settle in on him and we got to limit him?
I mean, they finally brought in a guy, Stephon Diggs, to get a lot of attention, so which opens up a lot of guys. We saw what he did, what Stephon Diggs did against his old team in Buffalo. I mean, he was just absolutely sensational. If they can get the running game to kind of get going, along with how they're playing at the quarterback position, I mean, New England could be a dangerous team, you know, in the AFC, especially with that defense. I guess on the other side too. I mean, we all know this New Orleans is in a, you know, rebuild kind of tank mode, and they're kind of figuring out, you know, what players to keep, what players not to keep. Spencer Rattler, actually, I think this season, in my opinion, has raised his value and has really shown that he can be a starting quarterback in this league for either the New Orleans Saints or just any other team that needs a quarterback. You know, next season. I don't know if they're going to keep him. I would like to see New Orleans keep him and kind of build around him and those guys. I'm still up for the Alvin Kamara trade to kind of get more pieces, more draft capital this season.
Me and Christian were actually talking about the Patriots, you know, through texting each other. And I'm all like, it's something about them, like they missing something and I can't figure it out. And Christian's like, they're not missing something. They're not missing anything. They got pieces. I'm like, no, they missing something. And Christian's like, they probably missing another DB because Christian Gonzalez can't stay healthy. And I think that's probably what it is. If they get another DB that can stay healthy, that'll probably put them over the top. I don't know if their DB is in the draft. I don't know if their DB is in a trade with someone. But I think that's what they need. And yeah, if you're New Orleans, just keep chugging away. It's gonna be an ugly season. I think Spencer Rattler maybe is your quarterback next year. Christian, I said the same thing about I think when they had it was when Jacksonville had Gardner Minshew. Mm-hmm. Gardner Minshew was putting up numbers. He was like he could make all the throws you want him to make, but they still went out and got Trevor Lawrence. They still went ahead and drafted Trevor Lawrence. Spencer Rattler's saving grace is there is no Trevor Lawrence in this draft class.
Yeah, no, there isn't. There is no Trevor Lawrence in his draft class. I do think you trade Alvin Kamara. I do think that you go get some draft capital. You build around. You add more pieces to the offense. You know what you can be with that offensive line if it's healthy. I think it's one of the better offensive lines in football when healthy. Like I said, that's an if. And I just think you got to add more wide receiver pieces. You know, more offensive weapons. You can always get a running back in the third, fourth round. There's a few of them. I mean, Scott Lee, I like the kid out of Missouri who I think is a redshirt sophomore. I think he might be draft eligible. You know, there's a few Jam Miller and a bunch of other guys that me and Christian talk about every week. You know what I mean? So, you know, if when worst thing come to worst, New Orleans is a team that can accumulate as much talent in as many places as they should. But I honestly do think, like with Kellen Moore, I think that Spencer Rattler, you know, is the right quarterback for that system. I think he's a guy that can be mobile. He's crafty. He's accurate with the football, as he showed against New England. And I mean, I think that New England's in one of that. Like I said, they're in a evaluation period right now. They're not really. I mean, not New England. New Orleans in the evaluation period right now, and New England is looking sharp as a tick. Right, or attack right now. Anyways, moving on to the next game, and this one, I know that we were talking about a little bit earlier yesterday. Was the Browns and the Steelers, as the Cleveland Browns. We're in the headlines. Trading Joe Flacco. Trading Joe Flacco. I don't know what Chris, TJ, what's going on, man?
I was just thinking about what we were talking about with this game, bro.
Bro, yeah, we'll get you. You know what we gonna talk? I already know that's why you was laughing. Look, they lost 23-29 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Shedeur Sanders, QB2. We all know the headlines were Flacco getting traded to the Bengals and starting. It was crazy as hell. God damn, they don't have no faith in Jake Browning and Cincinnati. Dylan Gabriel threw the ball 52 times and only had 221 yards and completed 29 of those balls. But Dylan Gabriel was he look. he was throwing hospital balls all game long. I mean, putting his receivers in positions where they were like getting cracked. I mean, he threw a ball. I can't remember who it was to. It might have been David Njoku or whoever the case was. I mean, dude got hit in his head right over the middle of the field. I mean, he was getting sacked. He couldn't see over the line. He's too small. He's completed less than 5 yards a pass in this game. And then on the other side, Aaron Rodgers, 21 to 30, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns. This is a game that DK Metcalf had another good game. 4 catches, 95 yards, a touchdown. This is a game that Pittsburgh should have won, and they did win. Cleveland is on the clock. The fans are getting restless down there in Cleveland, and the fan base wants to see Shedeur Sanders.
Real talk.
Play. They want to see Shedeur because they already know what this is.
Not to cut
it's
you
not
off.
good.
Not to cut you off. If I'm Shedeur, you know what I do? Hey, y'all got it.
Y'all got it.
Y'all got it.
Yeah, you ain't gonna throw me out there and I'm getting sacked 6-7 times.
Yeah. No, y'all got it. You ain't
gonna throw me out. You ain't gonna throw me out there. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't quote unquote got me thrown to the damn you brought Bailey Zappi up and had to
you didn't even have me run practice squad, bro. You have Bailey. Like the fact that Kevin Stefanski gets asked who's the backup quarterback and he goes, well, we're still evaluating that. Bro, what are you talking about?
Yeah, you gotta just turn the tape on. Dylan Gabriel's terrible, bro.
What more needs to be seen? What, like, I don't get it. But anyway, like again, they called us crazy. They called us Shedeur fans, everything but a child of God. We called them out for their bullshit. And when we said he wasn't getting run with the ones, and they like, well, yeah, that's typical. That's this, that's that, bro. Dylan Gabriel was getting run with the ones. Shedeur wasn't even getting run with the twos.
So the rumor is, hey TJ, hold on. The rumor is that they still are committed to Dylan Gabriel even after this game. Obviously, Kevin Stefanski coming out and saying we're still gonna roll with Dylan Gabriel. It wasn't all on him and all of this other good jazz and stuff like that. And people believe that the only way Shedeur is going to get in is when they lose probably enough games and they're out of playoff contention, already out of it, and 2, Dylan Gabriel gets hurt and injured. That's the only time we'll see Shedeur come into Cleveland and play is when their season's over with or Dylan Gabriel gets hurt. Crazy. I don't know how you not
at that point. No, at that point, y'all got it.
I don't know how you don't see this performance and say, "Oh man, this is what we want. This is what we want. We believe in this guy." I mean, yes, I do. Do I feel bad for Dylan Gabriel? They, you know what they did it. The Cleveland Browns put the kid in this situation where you drafted, whoever was going to draft Shedeur Sanders was going to put any was going to have some heat, but you drafted 2 rookie quarterbacks, which is terrible in my opinion. I mean, you drafted a kid that had a lot of accolades, especially at Oregon and at Oklahoma, had a good college career, and you put him in a position where it's like, teams like this. Shador is a top 3 quarterback talent that for some odd reason, I don't know what the hell happened. He slid down. We already know the story. Don't want to get into it. We know what it is. And it's just like you do this to this guy. You put him under all this scrutiny, all this pressure, all this, for Dylan Gabriel. And it is the worst situation to be in the NFL. What Dylan Gabriel was in and what Shador are going through is malpractice for both of them. For both of them is malpractice. Dylan Gabriel should be on a team where it's like they're grooming him to be the next guy. He shouldn't be thrust into this situation. And Shador should have been picked in the first round somewhere where he's being molded to be a franchise type of talent quarterback for what it is. And the fact that we got him,
this game can be summed up. This game can be summed up in one or two sentences. One, Aaron Rodgers threw the ball 22 less times than Dylan Gabriel and had more yards. The second one is Darnell Washington is finally getting involved with the offense, and he's being used as an actual tight end and more than just a blocker. And it's a beautiful fucking thing to see. And if you're ever on TikTok, look up Cleveland Browns media on TikTok. It's the funniest shit ever because they are in shambles. They are literally looking at Darnell Washington on that first play of the game get open. They're like, damn, can David Njoku do that for us? Like, can he stay healthy long enough to do that?
Hey, look, Harold Fannin looking like he looking like a player for Cleveland. Christian, any thoughts on the game? Right. Moving on to the next game that we have here. This one I did watch, and this was in I want to say this was the beginning of the afternoon games, as we had a few afternoon games here on the slate. I believe we had Cowboys, Panthers, Seahawks, Jags, not sure. Ravens. Yeah, Rams, Ravens, Packers, Bengals, and I'm not sure. And I believe we had Tennessee, Raiders. So we had a few afternoon games here, on this slate. But this one was a freaking track meet, as the Carolina Panthers beat the Dallas Cowboys 30-27 at home. Dak Prescott 25 for 34, 261 yards, 3 touchdowns. And George Pickens, continues to be dang near unguardable with CeeDee Lamb out 109 catches, 168 yards, 1 touchdown. He was having himself a field day. And then on the other side, Bryce Young, 17-25, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. But I think the talk of the game is Rico Dowdell, 30 carries, 183 yards, getting his get back, right, on his old team. 56 yards catching and a touchdown. And Rico was out there. He was out there running, getting 5 yards a pop as the Carolina Panthers ran for 216 yards easily. And remember when the Cowboys got traded for Kenny Clark. They said that they were going to be a better run. Yeah, doesn't look like it. And you know what? I do want to say something about the Carolina Panthers. I want to steal the win because they did kick the field goal and win the football game. But there was a reporter from ESPN that told that kind of made a joke about Xavier Leggett's dad won't be a Cowboys fan or whatever the case is.
He won't be at the game.
He won't be at the game. Or he won't be at the game, and I'm pretty sure he won't be a Cowboys fan this weekend. Shame on you. I think that reporter's name is David Moore, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
shame on you, my man, because you wrote about his parents.
I was just about to say that. Go ahead.
You wrote about his parents before, so he lost his parents in high school, and for you to make that joke is absolutely disgusting. to me, and you can see the pain on Xavier Leggett's face. So us here at Prime Sports World, I want to reach out to Xavier Leggett if he does watch and say, fuck him. Keep doing your thing. Because that was disgusting. That was lack of professionalism on his side. And I hope ESPN suspends the dude or at least give him a write-up or fire him. Something need to happen. Or if I'm Xavier Leggett, like TJ said, I'm just whenever he in the room, I'm just not answering none of your questions.
No, I'm not answering. No, like I mean, and it sucks because everybody else is gonna have to pay for his fuck up. I wouldn't answer any questions until he's out of the room. So if he in the room and he say, hey, I got a job to do, hey, well, I'm not answering nobody questions. Find me later. But if as long as he in the room or he in the locker room or whatever, I'm not answering. Like Boogie Cousins did that to a reporter when he was in Sacramento. Because he had Boogie Cousins had to check dude like twice. First time, I forgot what the first time was, but the big one was dude, the reporter in Sacramento had wrote something and he had talked about Boogie's brother. He had talked about Boogie Cousins' brother. And then they in the locker room after the game and Boogie saw him. He said, hey, you wrote that ish about my brother? He's like, let me tell you something. You can write whatever you want about me, but you leave my family out of this.
And to piggyback off what TJ just said, I remember last year a reporter made a remark about Joel Embiid's brother, or he brought up his kids or something, talking about, wouldn't you want your kids to see you play and this and that? I mean, the way I look at it, look, I've been in this field this is my 15th year now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And never once have I gone below the belt to disrespect a player, an organization, or a coach, because in that field, that's what we call Bush League. And my goal is to be concise. My goal is to be down the middle, but most importantly, to maintain professionalism. Because one thing my mother always said to me was, look, when I'm not around you, you're a representation of me. Don't make me look bad, but most importantly, don't make yourself look bad.
Yeah, and definitely, had to shed some light on that, take away a little, because it's much more, it's deeper than just between them lines and the gridiron, in my opinion. Sometimes on here, we talk about a little deeper subject, and that one I just wanted to talk about a little bit because I just felt like that was just totally wrong.
Low. That was Bush League.
That was low. That was Bush League, and that was wrong on his part. And then getting back to the game, Dak Prescott, continues to impress, but the Dallas Cowboys defense is just not very good.
Yeah, because I'll tell you, listen, Dak ain't the problem. If anything, just imagine if Dak had a serviceable defense.
Yep.
Dallas right now, I think they'd be ahead in the NFC East. But look, the way I look at it, and just from watching this game and looking at the tape and looking at the film, Dallas has it's the basic football fundamentals. They're not driving when they tackle. They're not wrapping arms around guys when they want to make tackles. They're giving they're giving up way too many of those home run plays down the field. It's bad. It's just bad all around, and they can't get home to the quarterback because remember, they traded away their pass rush. I don't know, to someone's team on this panel.
Yep, absolutely. Moving on to the next game that we have on the slate, and this is the second afternoon game that we are covering, and that is the Seahawks defeating the Jacksonville Jaguars 20-12 there in Duval County, as Sam Darnold was 16-27, 295 yards, 2 touchdowns through the air. Jackson Smith-Njigba continues to look like a top 5 wide receiver this year. 8 catches, 162 yards, 1 touchdown. What it's like to not be in the shadows of DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, right? When you taking the lead, when you the number 1 wide receiver, getting all the balls thrown to you in the league. Trevor Lawrence, 27-42, 2 touchdowns, 258 yards. Bad day at the office for Travis Etienne. They couldn't get the ground game going. 27 yards only on the ground. He led them in rushing. Brian Thomas Jr. 90 yards, 8 catches, 1 touchdown. But yeah, Jacksonville struggled to score points. But I mean, even with that, they were still in the game until the end. But that offense was just lackluster, as we seen when they had the ball last, and they were only down 20-12, especially in the fourth quarter after they scored that touchdown to get them to a 1-score game. They went 3 and out, 6 plays, 20 yards on their next possession, 3 and out. And this was after they had held Seattle to 3 and out, 4 and out, and then Seattle ended the game on a nice drive for the last 2 minutes and 53 seconds.
Yeah, you got to give Seattle all the credit in the world, bouncing back after a tough loss last week. I actually like the Seattle team. They just really seem to be taking after Mike McDonald and what he's bringing to the table. Sam Darnold, look, he's not a bad quarterback. I just think he gets a bad rap, but he hasn't looked bad. I think he's coming into his own in Seattle. And as far as Jacksonville, I don't want to say they were necessarily still celebrating the big one last week against Kansas City, but they failed to show up. You in this business, you got to be able to turn the page. Yeah, what happened last week happened last week.
Offensively, offensively they failed to show up. Trevor Lawrence.
They were great.
Defensively, they were great. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Defensively, when you hold the team to 20 points, you're pretty much in the game. The offense that couldn't convert. It was they couldn't sustain long drives. The Seattle defense just came ready to play. And what do I always say? It's tough for those West Coast teams to fly across the country and play in that 1 o'clock window. But look, 3 West Coast teams won on the East Coast yesterday.
Yeah, and this is definitely a 1 o'clock window. My fault for that. And then Jacksonville, they scored 12 points, didn't make it into the red zone at all, which kind of shows you how good their offense, how bad their offense was. They had 10 penalties for 76 yards on the day as well. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Thoughts, TJ?
I think it's the opposite. I think they absolutely still riding that high of beating Kansas City. I absolutely think that it's. I mean, like to your point, Christian. Like you did hold the team to 20 points. Like you're just hoping that your offense can match that. And this is kind of what we feared when we previewed the game. Like they were still gonna be riding high off that Kansas City game because some stuff happened in that game that normally don't happen. Like you don't see Trevor Lawrence stumble out of a huddle. I mean, out of snapping the ball, fall down, don't get touched, get up, scramble for a touchdown. You don't see that. That don't happen. That don't happen often. So like that was one of those games where like everything that needed to go right for the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean for the Jacksonville Jaguars went right. And you going into that game, little high, little ease, thinking like, hey, Seattle's not Kansas City. Sam Darnold damn sure ain't Pat Mahomes. So on and so forth, and you took an L.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have the last game of the afternoon slot, which is the Los Angeles Rams going into M&T Bank Stadium and facing the Baltimore Ravens as they defeated them 17-3. On the Rams side, Matthew Stafford, moderate game, 17-26, a touchdown. Kyron Williams with 50 yards and a touchdown. Puka Nacua actually went down with a foot injury, if I'm not mistaken, at some point in this game. I think it was the second, third quarter, something like that. And on the other side, Baltimore misses Lamar Jackson badly. It's Cooper Rush, 11 of 19, 1 interception. Derrick Henry did all he could on the ground with 122 yards, 24 carries. But in the end, Baltimore just their season is I mean, thank God. I mean, obviously Pittsburgh is kind of, they're kind of running away with the division at this point. But if they can get Lamar Jackson back as soon as possible, that would help their season because
That would be
with
great.
each loss, I mean, your probability of making the playoffs out the AFC is very low. And they're already at 5 losses. They take another L. I mean, you gotta flip a coin at the end of the season, and kind of hope. I mean, you lose 7, definitely. You're gonna need some help. Thoughts on this game?
Good bounce back win for the Rams. You talk about a get right game. That's definitely what this was. I mean, Derrick Henry did his job, but Baltimore's defense, I can't say they weren't too bad. They gave up 17 points, and they kept prolific Rams offense under 20 points, but it was the Ravens offense that just couldn't get much of anything going like that. That's the major problem right there, Izzy.
Yep, absolutely. They couldn't get nothing going through the air. They got everything going. I mean, Derrick Henry, I think he had flashbacks of being back at Tennessee. That's how it is right now. Jesus Christ. Moving on to the next game, we got the Tennessee Titans going into Vegas, and they drop another one 10-20 as this one was the straw that broke the camel's back for the front office for the Tennessee Titans as Brian Callahan is gone and will be replaced by Mike McCoy. For everybody who doesn't know who Mike McCoy is, a former Chargers head coach that took him to the playoffs some years back. His head coaching record, I believe, is 27-37. And he was also the offensive coordinator in Denver twice, once in Arizona. But we all know Mike McCoy, right? He's very conservative, Mike McCoy. Remember those Chargers teams. So and I think that they did need a change for the Titans. As you're going to move forward with Cam Ward. Hopefully this gives a spark to them. He was 26-38, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He had that one bad, to end the game where he just empty hand throw fumble. It was all bad for the Titans. It's kind of a culmination of their season. Geno Smith, 17-23, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Ashton Jeanty, 75 yards, 23 carries, 1 touchdown. Trey Tucker was the leading receiver for them. And Max Crosby had 2 sacks in this game. Thoughts on this game, guys?
Titans. You had one job. You had one job.
Yeah, one job. Yeah, I already know. These guys just they want to see Raiders lose every single game every week.
No, it's the note. I saw this on Twitter, and someone was like, they're gonna stop putting quarterbacks with bad head coaches. It's funny because Brian Callahan wasn't a bad coach a year ago.
Nah,
when Will Levis was fucking up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point, TJ. That's a very good point.
So,
that's a very good point.
Why is he a bad coach now? Why? Because it's Cam Ward and not Will Levis? Is that why?
Well, I think he's a bad coach because neither one of them actually progressed as the season gone. Will Levis, we all thought, oh my God, he had a couple good games, and we thought, oh, Will Levis is going to be the franchise, quarterback after his rookie year, and then next year, just the following year, never progressed. And then now you're on your second franchise quarterback.
So it's a mess in Tennessee right now. So Cam Ward is now on his second head coach. I don't know who the OC is in Tennessee. Was Callahan the OC too?
I'm pretty sure I think Mike McCoy was he might have been the OC, serving as the OC. He's definitely going to be calling plays now.
And see, I wanna say something.
And Tennessee was in way better. I'm sorry, Christian, but Tennessee was in a way better position with Mike Vrabel as the head coach.
Oh,
just saying. They should have never got rid of Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, but I'm not a fan of when head coaches are also either calling one side of the ball, either calling the offensive plays or the defensive plays. You can't do that. You have to focus amongst the entire team. That's what you hire coordinators for.
Yeah.
You want to call plays, just be a coordinator. That's it.
I agree. Totally agree. But I don't think there's much to say about this game as he's gone. Next game we got on the slate, second game of the late afternoon window. We got the Cincinnati Bengals, the Joe Flacco-led Cincinnati Bengals. I don't think he's been on the team more than a week. He's already starting for them. That's how much trust they have in Jake Brown to run that offense. As they drop one in Green Bay, 18-27. Green Bay scored 17 points in the fourth quarter. And you know what? Honestly, I want to say this. I was happy that Green Bay kind of, put them away in the fourth quarter, but I was a little disappointed for much of that. Yeah, that it took that long for much of that football game. I mean, this was a one score. I mean, in the third quarter, they didn't score anything. It was a 7-10 ball game going into the fourth quarter. And Joe Flacco, for him being there only like less than a week, he looked too comfortable. 29-45. He only got sacked one time. 2 touchdowns, 219 yards. Jamar Chase was loving it because he was getting the ball. He had 12 targets, 10 catches, 94 yards, a touchdown. And you know what? The Green Bay Packers, they better get it together, in my opinion. 3-0 at home, I get it. But they need to get it together. They rode that high of we're the best defense in the league, such and such and such and such. And coming off a bye week, they seem flat to start the game, in my opinion. Jordan Love on the other end, 19-26, 259 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Josh Jacobs had 2 touchdowns on this game, well needed for 93 yards. And Matthew Golden showing off, had 86 yards. Big play threat. That's what I like to see in the offense. Is I want to see that guy get more turn and burn in the offense, especially vertically for them, because he can do it. So, thoughts on this game?
No, I agree with you about them looking flat. But there are 2 guys I want to see Green Bay get a little more involved in their offense. That's Josh Jacobs. I think he's going to make things better, and I think he's going to make life a lot easier for Jordan Love. And the guy you just mentioned, Matthew Golden. I was high on him in Texas, and when the Packers drafted him, Izzy, remember, I hit you up, and I'm like, this is a really good move for them. He could really become that perennial number 1 receiver for the Green Bay Packers, because the Packers have had too many injuries amongst their wide receivers. Christian Watson can't stay healthy, and he's making the name look bad.
Jaden Reed is with the collarbone injury.
Right. Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs. Like, this is Matthew Golden's time to step up and show what he's capable of doing.
Absolutely. And I think and another one is Tucker Kraft. They need to get him more involved in the passing game. He only had 2 catches this game. But nonetheless, I mean, I'll take a win in the NFL. But yeah, they need to stop looking flat here, especially coming off of a bye week. I thought this was a game that they should have been after the quarterback a lot more. 1 sack on Joe Flacco doesn't excite me for that defense. But hey, that's just
piggyback. So piggyback off what you said, what both of y'all said. Yeah, the fact that this was at one point a 24-18 game, and if you're the Cincinnati Bengals and you get that necessary stop, Green Bay fans probably, palms getting a little sweaty there.
We crying. If we lose that game, we definitely crying.
Like 24-18, you get the ball back.
Hey,
Jamar Chase came alive.
If the Green Bay Packers lost that game, do you know how bad it would have been for Matt LaFleur? I mean, after Green Bay tied with Dallas, Green Bay faithful was already talking about, man, we tired of Matt LaFleur. He was too conservative in overtime. He didn't go for the W. What has he won? What has he done? Yada, yada, such and such. If they lost to the Bengals, Green Bay faithful would have been on his ass.
That could have been ugly.
Would have been ugly.
I mean, like I said, hey, 27-18, that last field goal made it, untouchable. Like, it was like nothing that Cincinnati could do to come back and win this one. Mm-hmm. That being slight, Cincinnati obviously you want to say this season's a wash because of the injury to Joe Burrow, but your offensive firepower doesn't give you that courtesy. Because you got T. Higgins, because you got Jamar Chase, you should be able to put up, you should still be able to put up points in bunches. And that was what was frustrating watching Jake Browning play, because it's like, bro, how do you not get number one the ball?
Right.
That's your main job, bro. Like, get Calvin Johnson played with some terrible quarterbacks outside of Matthew Stafford.
And they all got him the ball.
Larry Fitzgerald probably has the worst resume of quarterbacks outside of Carson Palmer and Kurt Warner. If John Skelton can get Larry Fitzgerald the ball, Jake Browning could have gotten Jamar Chase. Like, the first thing Joe Flacco did was what? When they finally got a rhythm, hey, I'm getting Jamar Chase the ball.
Exactly. Exactly. We throw it number one.
Hey, even at the start of the game, he was throwing to Chase and Higgins. He was off, but he was throwing to them too.
I love what he said too, because he's in his 18th season, and the reporter, I think his wife or his kids or some reporter, I think his wife asked him, why you keep doing this, or something like that. Or it was a reporter or something like that, and he said, man, because you only get to play professional football once in your life. And he's like, I'm not done playing. And if I can still play, I'm gonna still play.
And I love that
because it's like he loves the game of football. Even if he's gonna be a backup, a journeyman at this point in his career, he don't care.
And to piggyback off that, it's like the best part about that is, like, he ain't like, hey, I'm not what I was 10 years ago. I'm not finna be starting for nobody. I'm not trying to compete with nobody for a starting job. I know what I am at this point. I know my end is coming, but damn it, don't let me decide the end. Like, y'all.
I agree.
Let me decide the end.
I agree. I love that, man. If you can still do it, keep going, man. Keep going, man. And then the last game on the afternoon slate, we got the San Francisco 49ers going into Tampa Bay and dropping one 19-30. This one was, I honestly like this game. I mean, they were kind of going back and forth there. Baker Mayfield, until San Francisco just kind of, they threw an interception and, turned the ball over in the fourth quarter, whatever. But this was a 27-19, 19-20 game early in the third. Fourth quarter came 19-27. They were kind of going back and forth. They made some plays where they stopped the Bucs a couple times. They were able to get the ball back, but Mac Jones, he threw that one pretty bad interception, kind of midway as they're driving in the fourth quarter. And then, Tampa goes 8 plays, hits a field goal, kind of runs the clock down to make it 11-point game. Mac Jones, mentioned the 2 interceptions, no touchdowns, but him and Kendrick Bourne, 5 catches, 142 yards for Kendrick Bourne, as that chemistry continues to keep going from their New England days and Kendrick Bourne's second stint with the 49ers. And Jake Tonjes, 6 catches and 58 yards. That's going to be an interesting dynamic when George Kittle comes back, because he looks real comfortable in that offense. And then on the other side, Baker Mayfield continues to play like an MVP candidate. 17-23 he probably is a front runner for the MVP.
Yes.
256 yards, 2 touchdowns. And I like what Tez Johnson said after he caught that long date ball, 45 yards. He went up to Sterling Shepard. He's like, hey, man, I think they were, chanting MVP. They chanted MVP for me. I was like, but I ain't do nothing. They was like, hey, bro. Sterling Shepard's like, bro, that's for Baker.
He's like, oh, shit.
He's like, they said MVP for me. Nah, that's for Baker, bro. That's for Baker.
Hey, for you to go into a game and your starting receivers are 4th, 5th, and 6th on your depth chart, and you put up 30 points, your starting running back ain't in, and you put up 30 points.
Yeah. Both teams, they were talking about it too. Both teams injury riddled on the offensive side of the ball. They should be getting back some of their key weapons. I think Brock Purdy's maybe another couple weeks.
Not the Niners.
I know. Was it George
Fred
Kittle?
Warner.
Yeah, Fred Warner. Yeah, he's out for me.
Like my older brother, like, yo, this franchise got to be cursed, bro. Like he's saying blow it up. Like, cause you lose Fred Warner for the season.
Yeah,
and I love George Kittle. I mean, like, hey, there was a solid point in time where it was Kittle, it was Kittle and Kelsey. It was Kittle and Kelsey, right?
And yeah.
And Kittle kept getting hurt, so Kelsey and Kelsey wasn't. So
Ricky
Kelsey
Pearsall was injured for them too.
Yeah, so Kelsey was able to, widen that gap between the two of them, and I say it all the time. Like when we do a Niners season preview, it's like, hey, they got all these weapons, but how long you gonna have them? How long you gonna have McCaffrey? How long you gonna have Purdy? How long you gonna have Kittle? How long you gonna have Ayuk when he left? Like Kyle Shanahan, and like that's the beauty about Kyle Shanahan though, because his offense, like that Shanahan offense, is so plug and play. So it's like you can get, I ain't gonna say anybody, and still look good, but like damn,
yeah, go ahead.
No, they say it just comes a point where it takes a toll.
And they definitely got another, and San Francisco, they got some nice young talent too. I mean, Alfred Collins, a big defensive tackle, second round pick out of Texas. He's having a really good year for them. So losing Fred Warner, I know he opened up a lot of space for Fred Warner, taking on 2 blocks. He was the one that made the big stop in the last game that they had. But yeah, I mean, and then on the Tampa Bay side, I mean, you can't wait to get Bucky Irvin back and Mike Evans back. It's
Rashad White.
They had Rashad White. I don't know. Did he get injured in this game?
I don't know. I thought he was injured.
Oh no, yeah, no. Rashad White played 17 carries, 65 yards, a touchdown. Sean Tucker also had a touchdown as well. But yeah, they can't wait to get Bucky Irvin back because once they get all their pieces back and clicking, I mean, this team's gonna be super dangerous. I think what's his name? Emeka Egbuka went down, so we'll see. But yeah, they hit with the injury bug a little bit offensively. You got Egbuka, Mike Evans, and I believe what's his name? Chris Godwin might be a little banged up too as well. So once they get all those guys back, they come, maybe a week or two, Tampa Bay going to be real dangerous as they're just leading the pack. I mean, was there any question that Tampa Bay was, not going to win that division, the NFC South, like for real?
No.
Let's be serious here. Like there's no question.
Like,
there's no doubt.
I said it when we did the Tampa Bay field season preview. I'm like, they ain't worried about nobody in their division. They worried about the Eagles. They worried about whoever up north and whoever out west. They are not worried about anybody in their division. Like, no disrespect to Atlanta, but that's really the only team that could probably give them some gold.
Yeah.
No one else. They not worried about no one else.
And then moving on to the last game of Sunday was the Sunday Night Football between Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs. They went into Arrowhead and lost 30-17. Jared Goff, 23 of 29, 203 yards, 2 touchdowns on the Lions side. Jahmyr Gibbs, only 65 yards. David Montgomery, they barely used him. In the running game, 4 carries, 24 yards. I thought that was something they probably could have utilized a little bit more was the running game. I didn't think they were down, but a lot. And I didn't think they were not, I thought they were getting some good, plays out of the running game. They just didn't commit to it. Jameson Williams was the leading receiver, 66 yards, a touchdown. Sam Laporta had a touchdown as well, 55 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 9 catches, but only 45 yards. They kept him in check. Then on the other side, you got Patrick Mahomes, 22 of 30, 257 yards, 3 touchdowns, as the Kansas City Chiefs offense looked like they were in sync all game long. 112 yards on the ground between Pacheco, Mahomes, and Hunt, and Worthy. Pacheco was the leading rusher, 51 yards. Travis Kelce, leading receiver, 6 catches, 78 yards. Didn't get a touchdown. Hollywood Brown, 2 touchdowns. I think he had a touchdown, like a little pop pass, or a little kind of jet pass to him in the red zone. A couple red zone TDs, I think, for Hollywood Brown. Xavier Worthy also had a touchdown in this game. But Yeah, and then they had the skirmish at the end between Juju Smith-Schuster and Brian Branch there at the end. I thought that was just you know, that was just some goofy stuff from Brian Branch. Like you was getting your ass kicked all game, and then you decided to start some trouble at the end. Like, oh yeah, we gonna fight. We gonna fight at the end of the game because you kicked my ass. Christian, you got thoughts on this game?
This was the best I've seen Kansas City's defense look all season long. They just, they play with energy. They play with poise. You could make a case that this was their best performance of the year. Sans what they did against Baltimore in week 4. And the Lions just didn't have it. Kansas City punched them in the mouth, and the Lions couldn't punch back.
You felt Detroit was, especially at the beginning. Like they out there throwing passes to Jared
Goff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Jared Goff, and they thought that, hey, I'm thinking that's touchdown, but it's like, hey, he never got set, because he did catch that. He did son whoever that DB was. Hey, you did. You did. You lucky that shit was a penalty, bro, because you got sunned by a quarterback catching the pass. That shit that was ugly. Obviously, like the big one here is outside of the scuffle that everyone's talking about. Brian Branch did get suspended. He's not playing the next game.
The incomplete pass to St. Brown on 4th and 2, which I thought they had a chance to kind of keep that drive going and score before the half.
Right.
Obviously, Kansas City scored a touchdown to take the lead.
Yeah, and I don't think Kansas City they didn't have any penalties. Kansas City, Christian, am I right on that? Did Kansas City not have any penalties?
No, they
had 0 penalties. Yeah, 0 penalties.
They had so obviously, you already know how people feel about Kansas City and the officiating. They're like, ain't no way in hell they played 60 minutes of football and then commit a single penalty. Like, no, they didn't commit a penalty that wasn't called.
They were also 4 or 6 in the red zone, which made a difference. They were 4 or 6 in the red zone, which made a difference. And I did say something about Mahomes. You know what's crazy? I said that man Mahomes over here running into guys and lowering the shoulder. And I forget who was a second late on the hit. I think it was Aiden Hutchinson was like a second late on the hit. Boop, 15 yards. But that was warranted though. That was a warranted. It wasn't like, you know what I'm saying, it was a bad call, but I was just as soon as I said it, boom, it was like Aiden Hutchinson with the penalty. And I'm looking at some of the highlights right now. That second Hollywood Brown touchdown was like, I don't even know what the hell was going on. He was wide open. There was like not a Detroit Lion for freaking, they were all in the back of the end zone. There was not a Detroit Lion for like 10 yards of him. He just walked into the end zone.
Also, I can't remember the last time the Detroit Lions, maybe that Green Bay game to start the season, held under 100 yards rushing. I can't remember the time they couldn't run the ball. They didn't run. They was held to under 100 yards rushing, and that happened last night.
They should have committed to it a little bit. In my opinion, I think Chris Jones. I mean, Chris Jones was doing a hell of a job on their guard. He was on Penei Sewell's. They lined up on Penei Sewell.
They ran the ball 23 times.
They ran it all right. I thought it was okay they just didn't commit to the run.
You saying they could have did a lot more than that 23 just to keep the Chiefs defense,
I think Detroit should have kept running the football with Gibbs and Montgomery, and it would have kept Kansas City off on bay a little bit with in terms of how the offensive flow was moving. I think they could have got they're a little bit better of a running team than what we saw last night.
Well, absolutely.
And I don't think it was necessarily Kansas City's defense. I think it was just like the non-committed portion of not running the football enough was their downfall last night.
And Montez Sweat just got a bullshit roughing the passer call. I hate how softly they made the game now. This game was kind of even, time of possession 30 minutes and 37 seconds to 29 minutes and 23 seconds.
Yeah.
So like 0 penalties for the Chiefs. Detroit only committed 4. So it's not like they committed 0 and y'all committed 10 or 12. You only had 4 more penalties than they did for the whole game.
Yeah.
Where they like it's like what you said, where the game was probably lost, in my opinion, was 26 first downs to 18.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
62 plays to 53. That's 9 more plays than you. 355 total yards to 297. They both
Well,
averaged the same amount of yards per play, like 5.7 to 5.6.
what did
So
last year? Last year the Lions won this matchup, right?
yes,
Yeah. So Chiefs got their get back. Chiefs got their get back this
that
year.
they get back.
That's a good revenge. Just like the Chicago Bears fans hoping they get that big get back
Like,
on
hey,
Washington. I know they've been talking about that all season.
you said 4 for 6 in the red zone, 1 for 2. So
Yeah,
they had 6 trips to the red zone. You only had 2.
you only had 2. Exactly.
That's the
And
game.
and Amon Ra was pretty, bottled up majority of the game. Majority of the game. I felt like the game was somewhat even, like on the ground, in my opinion. But like I said, man, I feel like Detroit should have ran it more than what they did. I
Yeah,
think it
Dave
was a little
Montgomery
bit better.
cannot have four attempts. Like I don't.
Yeah, no, they utilize him more like in the passing game just to block. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, but Spags was throwing some good stuff at Jared Goff, and that's what made a difference. But anyways, that's all for the show. We got these 2 Monday night games as the Bears are playing Washington right now. It's 3-0, I believe, Washington. And
and
yeah, Buffalo did not take my advice.
Atlanta's up 21-7. They
They
heard
ain't
us.
wrapping shit up by half, Christian. TJ, they ain't wrapping nothing by half. But anyways,
Buffalo needs to go to Auntie Pearl house from the Steve Harvey show.
Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast here. We'll be back here tomorrow for the week 7 review. So you guys don't want to miss that. I'm Israel, that's CJ Hawkins, and there goes Christian Simpson from Daily Blog. If I miss you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, ladies and gentlemen.
He threw that thing off the backboard and like T-Mac did in Philly at the All-Star game in 2002, just for me to say, holla at your boy.
Holla at your boy and see you guys later. Peace out.
Let's go, Kwani B.